Okay, let's go.
When we talk about trading, everyone focuses on charts, patterns, and strategies. But the most important battle, that's not happening on your screen. It's happening right between your ears. Today, we're going to dive into the psychological arsenal you need to win that war, and we're taking our cues from Jared Tendler's incredible book, The Mental Game of Trading. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures what every single trader goes through. You're analyzing the market, sure, but at the exact same time, you're wrestling with your own fear, your own greed, and your ego. And as we're about to see, one of these wars is way, way more critical than the other. And that's the kicker. The profit or loss you see on your screen, that's just a symptom. The real disease, or the cure, is all in your head. This invisible war is where fortunes are really made or lost, because it's the thing that decides whether you stick to your plan or just light your account on fire. So let's start by exploring this invisible war. We're going to come face to face with that fear that makes you sell way too early, that greed that convinces you to hold on for way too long, and that anger that leads to some really disastrous decisions.
It's a simple question, but man, it's a deep one. The very first step to winning this whole mental game is just emotional awareness. And look, this isn't about becoming a robot. It's about spotting an emotion before it hijacks your brain and takes over your decision-making.
So how do you actually build this awareness? Well, Tendler's first big tool is something called an emotional journal. It's simple. Before, during, and after a trade, you just write down how you're feeling. Am I nervous right now? Am I feeling impatient and forcing this trade? It's not a diary. Think of it more like a diagnostic tool, an MRI that makes all your hidden emotional patterns totally visible. And once you start paying attention to those emotions, you're going to meet the first major monster you have to face. Its name is tilt. And trust me, it is way more sneaky than you think.
Okay, this definition is so important. Most people hear tilt and they think of, rage trading after a big loss. But it's so much more than that. It is any deviation from your plan that's caused by an emotion. Boredom? That can be tilt. Frustration? Tilt. Even that feeling of euphoria after a huge win? Yep, that can be a form of tilt too. And this shows you just how it disguises itself. It whispers these things in your ear that sound almost logical. Just one more trade to get my money back. Or, this market is out to get me. These aren't strategic thoughts, people. These are the battle cries of your emotions taking over the cockpit.
So, what do? How do you fight back? Well, you don't try to suppress tilt. You study it. You become a detective. By tracking the trigger, the thought it sparked, and the action you took, you turn this monster into a predictable pattern. You start to see it coming from a mile away, and you can grab the steering wheel back before it drives you off a cliff. Okay, so once you start getting a handle on tilt, you begin to notice all these other little emotional traps. And these are the ones that don't just cause a bad decision here or there. They actually warp how you see the market itself. Just look at this. It's fascinating. You've got two completely opposite emotions. Total arrogance on one side and crippling fear on the other, and they both lead to the exact same place: disaster. The overconfident trader thinks he's a genius who can't lose, so he abandons his system. The FOMO trader is terrified he's about to miss out, so he abandons his system. See? The end result is exactly the same. This is the absolute truth about FOMO. That gut-wrenching anxiety you feel when a stock is just rocketing up without you on board, that's not the market's fault. The market's just doing its thing. The fear, the panic, the desperate urge to chase, that is all happening inside your own head. So the antidote to FOMO is pure discipline. It's all about shifting your mindset from being a machine gunner, just spraying bullets everywhere and hoping something hits, to being a sniper. You wait, you're patient, you wait for your one perfect shot. If your setup isn't there, you don't trade. It's that simple. And if you don't believe me, just journal your FOMO trades. The data will not lie.
But what happens when you've got your emotions in check? You see your setup, but you still can't bring yourself to pull the trigger. This brings us to the next big battle, the fight for self-belief against the crippling paralysis of doubt.
Here's a hard truth for you. You can't just think your way to being confident. Watching motivational videos isn't going to help you click the buy button. Real, unshakable confidence isn't a feeling. It's a byproduct of execution. It's built brick by following your system again and again and again, and gathering the hard proof that it actually works. And you see, these enemies of progress, they're a team. They feed off each other. Perfectionism, that absolute terror of making any mistake, it just eats away at your confidence. And that lack of confidence, it paralyzes you. So when you finally do act, it's usually an emotional impulse, not a disciplined choice. It's a really vicious cycle.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. If you are waiting for the perfect setup with absolutely zero risk, you're going to be waiting forever. Progress in trading comes from taking good, high-probability trades, not from finding some mythical, perfect one. You have to learn to accept imperfection. That is the key.
All right, we've gone head-to-head with fear, with doubt, with overconfidence. Now, it's time to face the final bosses, the two most destructive emotions in the entire trading landscape: greed and revenge. This is such a critical distinction. Greed isn't about the ambition to make money. That's healthy. Greed is the inability to stick to your own plan. It's that little voice that whispers, hey, let's just hold on for a little more profit, turning what was a fantastic winning trade into a break-even, or worse, a loser, all because you didn't know when to stop. And here it is, the antidote. This might be the single most powerful tool against revenge trading. After you take a loss, your ego is bruised. The impulse to jump right back in and get your money back is almost overwhelming. The only cure is to create a gap. You have to pause, step away from the screen, and reset your mind before you even think about making another move.
This idea reframes everything. The market doesn't know you exist. It's not trying to beat you or fight you. It's just an impartial mirror, reflecting your own state of mind right back at you. If you're angry and chaotic, it's going to show you angry, chaotic results. If you're disciplined and patient, it's going to reflect disciplined, patient results.
So we've taken this journey through the mind of a trader, and we've confronted all these enemies within. The final step isn't about fighting them anymore. It's about integrating all these lessons to finally achieve mastery over your inner game.
This really is the path. You go from being confused and controlled by your emotions to having total clarity about them. You transform that paralyzing fear into a state of flow where executing your plan feels almost effortless. Your ego stops being your enemy and starts to evolve. And ultimately, you realize you were never fighting the market. You were only ever fighting yourself.
And really, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? Every single day, the market is going to hold up a mirror to you. Is it going to reflect discipline, patience, and a solid strategy? Or is it going to reflect fear, ego, and chaos? The choice, as we've just seen, is entirely yours to make.